Hi, today I'm going to share with you a layout using Close to My Heart's feature collection for the month of April, which is Eat, Play, Love. This collection, I'm going to use today the paper collection and the stickers. I showed you the stickers there at the start, and I'm just flicking through these double-sided papers now just to give you a bit of a picture of all of the options that you have with this collection. There's some sort of retro kinds of papers here, a little bit of folksy, a little bit of a baking theme going on. I guess that's in the title of Eat, Play, Love. And here are the Picture My Life cards. So the main colours in this collection are glacier, lagoon, avocado, fern, lemonade, nectarine, candy apple, toffee, almond, black, French vanilla and white daisy, as well as, and I was going to say the French vanilla again, but I've already said that one. So I'm going to use a white daisy paper in the background, and I'm actually going to cut this paper down. So I'm not using this piece in its entirety, and so I've trimmed off a piece off the edge there, just so I've missed out that flower, and I'm just sort of placing it around on the page thinking, how am I going to make this work? When I saw this paper, it was sort of one of those things that I decided I was going to do with it, was to turn it around or change it or chop it smaller, because it felt like it was a paper that had to stay as it was, but I wanted to find a way to make it work where it wasn't just a full sheet of the paper with something stuck on top of it. And so I've done that with these papers. So I love these cherries, and I'm just trying to work out whether I'm going to do a wider strip behind there, whether I'm going to tuck something in, whether I'm going to do this whole thing instead of using the white daisy, and just how I'm going to do that or what I'm going to do with it. So sort of playing around here, and I've decided that I will use the cherry paper, but what I do a little bit later on isn't as it looks here. So here I am just rearranging this again, and I've decided to put that piece, and I've drawn myself a bit of a sketch. So I was looking at it and I was like, I have to work out how to make this work. So on just a piece of A4 printer paper, I drew a bit of a sketch of what this page might look like when I've stuck all the pieces down. So I'm now going to use some of the Ocean Gloss Spray, which is one of the Dina Wakley sprays, and I'm just I've taken it out, taken the lid out, and I've just sort of splattered it around. I'm also using two of our shimmer brush colours, so I have got here Toffee as well as Sundance, just to do some splatters in the background there, and they look quite dark, but as they dry the colour softens a little bit and you just get left with that nice shimmeriness, and the ocean's just sort of got a nice matte finish. So here's that cherry paper, and I have trimmed that down as per the sketch that I created, and here is a zip strip as well. So I'm going to tuck those in there and have my photos matted and on the top here. So these photos are recently, it has been Easter, and on Saturday I was sort of wandering around through Facebook or something, and it popped up this sort of coffee and an egg, and it reminded me of it just reminded me that we'd looked at doing this another year but never quite got there, and I had the perfect sized hollow eggs to fit into these egg cups, and did a shot of espresso with a little bit of cream in each for my husband and I to enjoy a nice espresso Easter egg of sorts. And so it was quite delicious, and captured a photo of the process as well as the cup with the egg container in the background there. Anyway, I'm going through the Picture My Life cards, working out what will work, what I can mat these photos with, how I'm going to do some journaling, what's going to fit in with this page that's still staying within that theme, just to keep it interesting. And so the Picture My Life cards are great. You can use them for your pocket pages or your pocket journaling, or you can use them as photo mats, as embellishments for your page. You can fussy cut around them. You can do all sorts of things with these to finish off your pages. So the one I've just put up the top there, I do end up fussy cutting that to stick that flower down. And on the back of this sort of scalloped, the paper that I've cut down with the cool border or the cool shape there, I On the back of that is a whole lot of squares, which you can see to the left of the screen there at the moment. But what I'm just doing now is trimming down this Picture My Life card, because I've decided this will be my title. And it's another use for the Picture My Life cards as titles for our pages. So I'm just making this little journaling card a bit smaller, because I'm going to do that sort of as my cluster up in the top right of this layout. So I've looked at the squares that I think will work on there, and I'm just putting them into my trimmer there so I can trim the leftover pieces down from this page I've got and use some of these squares on this page. So these are there that can be little embellishments. You could use it on its own. I have seen that in some of the in the catalogue. On the main page about this is a page where these squares sort of form a frame around a white daisy aspect to the layout, and so lots of uses for them, but I decided to use them as sort of square embellishments on the page, or to fussy cut around them, as I'm going to start doing now with this square. So I've now fussy cut out all of those shapes. You didn't need to see me do that. It would take far too long and be far too boring, and I'm just sort of arranging them around the page to to visually be happy with what I'm seeing, and tucking the different shapes in and around all over the place, and looking at it to see what I am thinking about how it's all looking. So I'm quite happy with how the cut down sort of scalloped frame there is looking on the right. And now I'm going to mat my photographs, just using a strip that was there left over from something. And so this is just some white daisy cardstock. I just really like doing this because I feel it really helps to lift the photos up from the background. So you can just see that white just sort of sets them apart a little bit again. So this is the Tombow permanent tape runner that I was using there to stick down some of these bits and pieces. And I've already gone ahead and stuck down some of those other bits off camera. And yeah, so I'm going to use some of the foam tape on the back here, just to pop these photos up a little bit, so that if there are other embellishments and things that I want to tuck under there, I can. And then I'm going to position them on the page with that little bit of foam tape. So it's the thin foam tape, so they're not popping up too much, but just enough to add a bit of depth and interest. Sorry about the flickering light there in the background. It's been a sort of a interesting day. There was lots of sunshine, and then it would get really cold, and then there'd be sunshine again, and I had to keep opening and closing the curtains, but obviously the sun's moved around a bit more and sneaking through the side there. So you can see I'm tucking one of those squares in that piece there and in behind, even though that was sort of a place that could have had some journaling on it, that card that's behind those flowers and things, it felt like it just needed to be a nice edge to the photographs. So I'm also putting the foam tape on the fussy cut flower up the top there, and I'm going to stick that down. There is a very similar sticker in the sticker sheet, but I do use that in some layouts later on. Today's mission was to actually use this collection. It sort of, it didn't have the same hold for me as the likes of Daisy Meadows, but I'm really pleased with how these pages have come out. I added some wooden embellishments on there, and yeah, so hope you enjoy having a look at these. The wooden embellishments are also part of this Eat, Play, Love collection, and I've just tucked them on the page. Thanks for watching. Hope it gives you some ideas for using this collection.